as I invite you to my forest here today. And welcome you to find a comfortable spot wherever you are in the space that you are, however quickly or slowly you might be moving. Taking this moment to find the ground beneath you, to find the thing that's holding you, whether it's a piece of furniture, perhaps you have a bed or a couch that's up and under you, perhaps you're right on the floor. Maybe there's a cushion between the floor and your body. Maybe you'd like a cushion between the floor and your body, or the furniture, or anything else. And so we begin here. Coming home to the body, wherever you have been today, in physical form or in mental spaces, wherever you have been, bring the mind and the body together. This moment to be home, to be aware, feeling whatever there is to feel here, feeling what the body is communicating. And feeling into the grounding, being there. This is always a nice place to surrender to gravity, to know that this force is here under all of us, supporting each of us. It's one of the things that you might be grateful for, grateful to be connected to the earth in this way, grateful that this planet is holding your whole body as it is in its form today. And taking this moment with these two questions to keep coming back to, the question of how do I feel, and asking the body, acknowledging the experience of the body, whatever draws the attention, noticing that. Taking a breath into the body with the kindness, and the willingness to see, to hear, to understand. How do I feel? How do I feel? Physically, in this form, how does my flesh, my joints, my muscles, the bones, how do I feel in the physical form? And how do I feel emotionally? What's the heart feeling? And there might be something more subtle than emotions, more subtle than the body. Maybe there's a spiritual sense, a feeling, a knowing, a state of being. And so follow with the question, what do I need? What do I need? Knowing what you know about these feelings, what can be offered to the body and to the heart, to the spirit. What do I need? And crafting a personal theme for this class, for yourself, based on this knowing, based on how you feel and what you need. And whatever suggestions I make, whatever instructions I offer, let those be filtered through this theme, filtered through your knowing of your needs and what will serve you the best today. We'll go through some familiar movements. I have a suggestion, a proposal that some of you might like to try a little different base position, but we'll go through some of the basics. We'll start with the feet today, as we've done so many times, and you might be comfortable and familiar. Move this out of the picture there. So you might be comfortable sitting. You might like to do it this way. You might be lying down. You might be sitting in a chair on a couch. That's all great. The option that I give you today, the suggestion I make, if it sounds like a good idea, is to bring belly to the ground. If you are someone who spends some of the day sitting in a car or at a desk, letting the body open in this forward position. Whichever position you're in, wherever you are, the focus goes down to the toes. You might lift the feet. If you're on the belly, they might just be down on the ground or near the floor. So begin to fold and bend the toes, closing and opening the toes. So doing that in a sitting position, however the feet end up, closing and opening the toes, and separating the big toe from the remaining four, doing a dance of separate toe openings, one direction and the other. And as the toes find their movements, as you warm the toes up, move on to the ankles. And again, this might be done sitting in a forward facing, or this might be done with belly on the floor. Forward and back movements. And from here, circles, rotations. Clockwise and counterclockwise, whichever direction you're going, you'll do 3 to 5 in one direction and you'll switch that direction. And then we'll get fancy in exploring the figure 8 or an infinity symbol. Maybe slowing that down to get the nuance there of the rounding and the crossing and the ankle joints. Wherever the ankles are, moving just the ankles. The rest of the body might be sitting, it might be lying down, it might be on the back, it might be on the front. And the ankles dance around. For knee bending, if you are on your belly, you're simply closing one or both legs, heels to the thighs and back open. Sitting, you'd be lifting the knee, closing the entire leg, and lifting it back up. So focus on the knee joint, one leg at a time, 3 to 5 times on one side, 3 to 5 on the other, little movements, little explorations. What does it feel like to bend the knee from whichever position you're starting in? Maybe lying down. And maybe on the belly. The knee rotations, which come next, are especially convenient on the belly. If you happen to be on the belly, anchoring one knee as your axis and then drawing a circle with the The lower leg comes sort of conveniently. This exercise, this practice for the knee joint, I'll show you sitting as well, would be holding the thigh, stabilizing the leg, and exploring that rotation of a circle in one way and in the other. Two knees, two directions. And that might be plenty, and needing a rest from there, that might be requiring a few breaths. And some of you might like to practice with both legs together. Again, whether you're sitting or on your belly. A double rotation is also possible, demanding a little more core strength, a little more coordination, flexibility. So taking that as an idea, maybe a direction towards which you might be moving. That might be done, again, both legs, circles in one direction and the other. Wherever you are, taking a pause, taking a moment to breathe. As we move into the bigger joints that are the hips, we've got maybe fewer possibilities of alternate positions. So let's take a break and a breath there into the toes and the ankles and the knees. And preparing to work with the hands and arms. So for that, you might choose to be sitting up again. You might choose to be on the back and prop the arms up. If you're finding something really good and comforting in this position on the front of the body, this can also give you access to the hands. I'll show the practices sitting up for best visual cues. Like you did with the toes, we begin with folding all the fingers in and then opening them up. And doing between 3 and 5 repetitions of this. Fist making, one finger at a time. Slowing it down, especially if you feel any sort of puffiness, water retention, achiness, moving slowly, maybe pumping a little bit, encouraging those muscles to engage and soften, to move metabolic waste, to move the fluids through the body. And then folding one finger at a time, the thumb comes in and opens back up, and the index finger comes in and lifts down and up and down again. Reaching and opening. Going through the fingers a few times. Oh, there's my buddy. Hi, buddy. A few times through the fingers, and a few times really teeny tiny. Joint closes just in the knuckles, and leaving the palms open. From there, the fingers might need some more organic movements, some dancing around, little rain falling or typewriting, piano playing. And into the wrists, from the fingers to the wrists with a forward and a back. Letting the wrists guide these movements from folding and bending to rotations. Whichever position you are, being focused on the wrists. Making it slow in one direction, in the opposite direction. And then infinities, figure eights. Drawing eights with the wrists and changing that direction. And again, giving the wrists whatever else they might be asking for, calling for before we head into the elbows with straight arms and bent arms. Touching the shoulders a few times to feel what it is to have long arms wherever you are, finding the reach in front of you. And if you have the space around you to the sides, allowing the arms to reach. And that might be a little moment. You might be lengthening, extending, expanding, and coming back in. See how much space you can offer your body in the different directions that you have room for. Is there room above your head? And moving slowly, moving gently with the shoulders, honoring whatever this body is telling you today. And if you're sitting and there's no chair back or couch back behind you, and even if there is, you might even just draw the elbows, you might have the space to reach behind, seeing if that's available to you. Inviting the body to move in this direction that maybe it rarely does, and certainly not both together. It's a rare thing that we have both arms behind the body. Finding whatever other angles, whatever other positions, maybe the shoulders need some asymmetrical extensions. Where is the medicine for you today? Find different rotations, right? Where's the thumb pointing? Point it back, point it down, point it forward. Seeing how those different thumb positions affect the whole arm, the shoulder, the elbow. And as you satisfy that, letting the fingertips come to the shoulders. And for this, if you are on your belly, you probably will have a harder time. So coming into a sitting position, coming into a position lying down maybe, but sitting is the preferred position if you're able to find that. And legs comfortable. So you can be on a chair, the legs might be just hanging off the chair or couch. You might be sitting on the floor, the edge of a bed, folded legs, straight legs, fingertips on the elbows, and the elbows, or fingertips on the shoulders. Please don't put your fingertips on your elbows. And then bring your elbows together and apart. And there's sort of two different ambitions or intentions or intensities with this, even with this simple exercise. It could be all about the shoulders, or you can include the spine. You can round the back to give the elbows a little even closeness or tightness together. And then the same way, making a back bend, maybe even looking up to get the elbows as close to one another behind. So choosing what you need today. Do you need that whole spine movement? Do you want the sitting cat sort of thing with the shoulders, or is it really about the shoulders? Is there something in those shoulder joints that needs your attention and your focus? Giving that a few forward and backs. And from the simple movement to a more complex movement, a rotation. Seeing how close you can keep the elbows as they reach up. And how close together the shoulder blades can come as the elbows reach down, kind of even depressing the shoulders, drawing the shoulders down away from the ears in one direction, in the opposite direction. Exploring this. Possibility of this joint, the shoulder joint. And then figure eights, drawing figure eights with the elbows. So you get that cross in the middle and changing that direction, doing a figure eight in the opposite way. However else these shoulders need to move. Some of you might move into swimming kind of movements if that's what your arms are needing. Some of you might need a Muppet dance, feeling what your body's needing today. That's right, some of you might do some breaststroke and crawl. I don't even know all the names of the swimming moves anymore. Reaches and openings. Where do the elbows need to go? Where do the shoulders want to go? Moving through the arms, finding their stretches and letting them rest. Awesome. Yeah, I saw some hinging the fingers. That's a way to get into the wrist too. That's a nice one. Awesome. Yes. I see some beautiful yawns. Get that oxygen. Yes. Settling into that, noticing what you've done, how that feels, how the body's responding. And give it a few breaths. We'll do the series for the neck, these gentle movements that you've been doing with all the other joints here with the topmost part of the spine, beginning with a forward and back. And you're the boss. Just a reminder that I'm making some suggestions here, but you're absolutely following what your body is telling you. Soft in the jaw, easy in the tongue, and grounded, going back to gravity, going back to this trust of the earth beneath you so that your movements are in collaboration with gravity, befriending gravity. Forward and back, side to side, ear towards a shoulder, drawing a horseshoe with your nose, a little rainbow with your nose, up and over. And you might need to stay in one of these positions. You might find something to get more subtle and specific about. The head is to the side, but you might have some fine tuning with where your nose is pointing, where the chin is tucking, lengthening the neck, or moving sort of a side and back bend together. You'll discover where the stretch leads you. Where does the sensation, the need of the body guide you? And these side to side movements and taking them exploratory, organic. I'm not sure if you can hear the popping I'm hearing in my own neck and my ears here. You might be having an orchestra concert in your own neck there. Side to side, and the third one is the twist, the slow motion no. Moving left, moving right. Letting the eyes be part of this game, letting the eyes move deeply into those corners. And the same thing, once you get the sense of the range of movement you have today, where's the comfort, where does it feel good? You might hang out in one of those positions and get some more precision, some up and down, some little explorations. Our fourth movement for the neck is the rotation, beginning with a center and a stillness, as if the nose were a pencil or a crayon, and it begins to draw a small spiral. Letting the nose move around an imaginary center point, slowly making that spiral larger if the neck allows it. Looking in all these directions that the neck allows in one direction, keeping that same direction to arrive back at the center, to arrive in the stillness. Perhaps taking a breath there and changing the direction and reversing that direction to go the other way. Around and around. And in that one direction, arriving to stillness by spiraling inward and taking a breath. We've done as we do the major joints, the toes and the ankles, the knees. We skipped over the hips. We'll come right back to those. We did the fingers, wrists, elbows, shoulders, and neck. So let's hang out with the hips. And the hips, you might continue to be sitting if that's what you choose. And if you have the ability and the space to be in a hands and knees cat position, this is a great place to work with the hips. And I will show you what you can do sitting as well. So if you are on the hands and knees, beginning with a classic cat, moving the hips right here, that tucking and tilting of the tailbone in this movement. So sitting down, this can happen in whatever sitting position, anchoring through the sitting bones there, but letting the roundness take place. That tailbone can still stick out and tuck in. The spine can be rounded and backwardly bend. So finding the whole spine movement and making it through the hips, being that about the hips. If you're sitting and that's available to you, you might even lift the leg. You might have done this already as you were bending the knee, but that makes it deeper into the hip. And if you're on the hands and knees, you might try this leg in motion, one of the legs moving knee towards elbow. You got a couple options here. It can go to the same side. It might go to the opposite elbow. Lots of things for that leg to do when it reaches back. It might reach back out straight and just hang out there. You might want to add some more ankle and toe movements if that's what your body's been feeling in need for. The leg might reach past your midline. You might like that stretch at the front of the thigh, or you might even out the hips. You might square the hips to the floor and see how that affects the sacroiliac joints, the back of the pelvis. You might even bring that foot to the floor. All kinds of things. It might be bent and lifted to get into the front of the quad. Again, that elbow might come back to the same knee, to the opposite knee. And whatever you do on one side, try it on the other. See what the body needs on the other. They might have the same needs. They might have different needs. Finding all sorts of access and movement options. Whether you're in the cat pose or on the floor, there might be a hula hoop type movement, exploring that rotation through the pelvis, moving the trunk of the body around. Whatever you're doing in one direction, try it in the opposite direction. And if you can make a circle, can you also make a figure eight? If you are on the hands and knees and practicing a hula hoop-like movement, can you make that into a figure eight, an infinity symbol? And then that will go in two directions. That will have sort of a clockwise gist and a counterclockwise gist. That might be on the hands and knees, and even if you're sitting here, that might be some sort of exploration that doesn't look like much, but might feel really nice for the hips. Taking a few moments, a few breaths with whatever else the cats in your bodies might be needing, returning to the initial questions of how do I feel? What do I need? Tuning into the theme if you crafted one for the class, or maybe choosing a theme if you've joined us more recently. Answering the question, how do I feel? Really though, in the body, in the heart, in the spirit. And what do I need? Take a few moments rest and breath here with these questions, with feeling the body, acknowledging these movements that have already been offered to the body. And if you're on the hands and knees, you might rest folded up in a child's pose. You might rest stretched out on the belly. And if you're sitting, find your most comfortable seat. If you're on a couch or a chair, use the back, let yourself be held. Taking a few breaths, feeling the ground beneath you, connecting again with gravity, with grounding. and with gratitude. Thank you, body. Thank you, breath. Thank you, earth. You might be in movement. Your body might feel that energy. You might be in rest. Honor your rest. Honor your movement. From the cats and the floor, the progression is to move into an inversion, a stretch for the whole body. If this is available to you, you might practice on the floor. And you might also choose to do this against the wall. Ooh, turned out my light there. Finding a position where the body is folded or bent. Wow, losing my nails here. Oh well, they go. And allowing the body to find whatever it needs here. That might be walking in place, that might be playing with the knee again. That might be exploring knee to the elbow, to the opposite elbow. That could be done against the wall, that could be done on the floor. And a similar invitation to explore reaching and lifting, if it feels good and safe to do so, letting the leg even just lift a little bit. It might reach past the midline, and it might come back to center and squared. Noticing what happens in the hips. The hips might be past a square, they might be rotating outward, or they might come down so the leg lengthens and is parallel to the floor. Very different effect on the back of the leg. So if you are doing any of these, explore, and again, they can be done with the full effect of gravity. They can also be done in a supported position with the wall. Giving your whole body these few minutes. Reaching and stretching and lengthening. And ample rest for any moment that there's a signal to soften, to release. Honoring that. Slowly bringing the body towards a standing position. From those down lows, we'll come up to tall. And it sometimes takes a moment just to arrive. And I'll demonstrate standing, but this can also be continued in a sitting position. These are movements of the upper body and the arms that are lengthening for the whole spine as we begin. Standing in a way that the knees are soft, the outer edges are anchored, little toes on the ground, the big toes also holding you. And the hands come together, the fingers interlace. On the inhale, the arms reach up. And that might be the whole practice today. This might be something for the armpits and for the back. The hands might need to come to rest on top of the head, or they go all the way down. Beginning this practice by lengthening the spine, reaching through the crown of the head, and avoiding a shrug. It might be tempting to lift the shoulders, but letting the shoulders be down. The shoulders stay down, the hands come up, and you might take it another step further onto the toes as an option to make this into a balancing pose on the toes. And reaching upward. However many times feels nourishing to the body. It might be a few quicker ones. It might be a few slower ones. It might be one longer one and a longer rest. Keeping the shoulders down throughout the practice, encouraging the shoulder blades to sink as the armpits open, as the spine lengthens, the crown of the head goes up. Reaching up. And then stepping wider, stepping the legs wider than the shoulders to continue with a side, lengthening a side bend. Lots of options for the arms, the option of least effort for the arms. The arms are just going along for the ride. They might engage a little bit. Hand towards the armpit to open a little more of the side body of the waist and the lateral edges there. The arm might reach straight to really get a deeper line of stretch. Noticing what your elbows and shoulders and ribs and armpits are encouraging, what they want, what feels good. And some of you might interlace the fingers. Some of you might like both arms lengthened. No wrong way to do this. Listening to what your needs are today. How do I feel? And what do I need? And how do I feel? And what do I need? Up and down, side to side, and the next movement is a twist. I'm checking that I have the space around me to reach my arms out and not hurt myself or any other objects or creatures in my space. And you might like to keep the arms open. You might let them wrap around the body. It might be hand to opposite shoulder, arm low on the back. Moving into a standing twist, however your body finds it to be comfortable. Arms can be really loose and soft in the elbows and bending and flopping. Or you might have a more controlled situation. You might find that length, that open position, noticing what the different options for twisting in the shoulders and the elbows, wrapping the arms up and around. Standing twists and arriving to the center, arriving to the stillness in the middle. We'll continue with a forward backward bend combination, a backward forward bend combination. Can be done sitting. Again, this can be done with the hips parked on something soft, but it can be done standing. I'll demonstrate the standing version. Beginning with a straight up and down, beginning with that tall spine, the length of the neck and the back. Lots of options for the arms, as always, beginning with a gentle option, the arms opening low as the chest opens into high release, soft in the knees as the body folds forward. It might just be hands to the thighs. It might be deeper in, lower down. Where does your body want to go today? Down and back out, forward bend, backward bend, and back to vertical, to the neutral, to the center. No rush, no hurry. Maybe coordinating with the breath, maybe breathing throughout, maybe hanging out in some of these areas and spending a few breaths. The arms might reach into higher positions depending on what your shoulders, your upper back are needing, are wanting today. How do you feel? What do you need? forward and backward bend combinations. Finding the open, high release of the chest, the looking up as the shoulder blades come together, wherever the arms are for that. It's more in the upper back, not so much in the low back. And then the forward bend is in the low back. The forward bend is throughout the length of the spine, in the shoulders, in the mid back, in the low back, even in the hips as they scoop in for that forward bend. Forward bend, backward bend, forward bend. Excellent. Finding stillness, finding breath. Noticing if the body's got one more of those or if that's plenty, letting the breath move and go. And we'll do a combination here of warriors and archers, archer warriors. Can be done sitting. I can demonstrate that. I'll bring a chair in just a moment. You are able to stand, you're standing wide, and you let both feet twist to one direction. The back one might be less deep of a twist for your balance, for your steadiness. And with the arms, wherever they're comfortable, take a moment to begin feeling into a lunge. Does the hip, the thigh there get something from bending the front leg? And on a chair, this can be done sitting on the edge of a chair. Same principle as you can see my feet. Feet wider, feet turning in one direction, and then one leg can extend out from a chair if that's an exploration to find what that might be. And that could include the arms in all sorts of positions. So whether you're standing or sitting, and giving yourself a moment to explore the lunge and whatever arm positions the body is inviting and finding beneficial. When you're ready for a change of position, you pivot on the heels to face the opposite direction. And allowing for any other movements here. As you feel yourself satisfying and accessing any parts of the hips, the thighs, that might feel good. We'll move into a bow and arrow pose, a pose with, again, that sideways facing, that openness in the legs. You choose whether the knee is bent or straight, whatever works in your body. You're picking up an imaginary bow and arrow. You're fixing your gaze at something that's not moving. And as the front arm begins to pull that imaginary bow, create that tension, you're keeping your eyes focused in that one area. And with this posture, there are two main choices to make. One is what to do with the hips. You might stabilize them, squaring them, and make this all about the shoulders, all about that shoulder blade and elbow, making the upper body take the full expression here. Or you might, the opposite, the other choice is to include the hips, to let the hips open out along with the elbow. And even if the hips go, the eyes stay, right? If you're hunting and you've got a bow and an arrow, you will not move the face. So making that choice in one direction, in the opposite direction. Finding the details, the nuance as you move in this way, exploring where the stretches and the reaches get you. What does your body need? How do you feel? And what can help you feel even better? As you satisfy these movements of the whole body, of the spine, the shoulders, the neck, notice the left and the right. Notice if there's anything else in the body that's asking for attention, calling for help. We'll do a balancing pose before we settle into the breath and the mind itself. Balancing, continuing with our work with a flute player posture. In just a moment, take another few breaths to arrive, to find your balance on 2 feet, to find the steadiness of the earth, to find your grounding, to drop the weight of the body through the tailbone, to find your center of gravity. And to be here for a moment. There is an arm position, there is a leg position. You're welcome to watch first. Options for the feet include just the lean of heel on ankle. It might be stepping the toes on the opposite side, but they can still land there if you like to have the feet, the ground under both feet. And as you feel steadier in your balance, you'll lift that standing foot. You might even wrap it around the back ankle if you've got that flexibility. So choosing the standing foot, lifting the lifted foot to wherever it is going to be steadiest. Maybe just here, maybe just there, maybe lifted. And then both arms reach up in cactus position in the elbows right out at shoulder level. Whew, I don't have this balance today. And the little fingers and the index fingers stick up while the thumbs touch the middle and ring fingers. You've got these longhorns, as I know them, these little hand puppet positions with their ears. And let that tension be in the fingers. This is part of the position that this body is getting the message of energizing, of anchoring. Balance is about lengthening and defying gravity. So the fingers are part of that. They're defying gravity. They're perked up. And on the same side that the knee is pointing, let that arm stay, and the opposite arm comes in between as if you're holding a flute. This might require plenty concentration and balance, eyes focused in a single point. Counting your breaths or just telling yourself mentally that you've got this. Strong and steady. And you'll do at least 2 rounds, at least once on each side or twice on each side. So when the balance finishes on one side, the whole shape mirrors itself. 1 foot on the ground, 1 foot up, crossed, or leaning. Hands at the side of the knee. 1 hand faces forward, 1 hand faces back, as if holding a classical flute. At least 2 rounds, exploring. The first one is sort of a dress rehearsal, and the second one is the real deal, getting your blocking, your pattern, your shape sorted out, and then going for the gravity, for the defying of gravity, for the balance and confidence on 1 foot. You might be noticing how much work it takes to balance. It does take a lot of muscles, which is one of the reasons that this kind of work is so important, strengthening, and it is a skill to develop, a skill to improve and increase your whole life, to increase the focus capacity, the balance, the concentration. While also treating the body in that right-left balancing way. Take a minute to check in again and again with your body, your needs, what is happening there. There might be some other movement that you are needing. Returning again to these questions, how do I feel right now in this moment? How do I feel in my body physically? What do I need? Where is my body calling attention? What does it ask for? What does it need? There's no wrong way to do this. No wrong way to listen to your own body. And following its suggestions, following its hints, its nudges. If it says sit down, then you sit down. If it says, hey, try stretching in this way that you've done some other time, try it. Tending to this body. With this question, what does it need today, right now? In just a few minutes, moments, maybe not minutes, I'll be guiding you through a breathing practice. There's no rush, there's no hurry. I see some of you in your joints, in your muscles. I think that's great. One of the questions with what you need is what you might need in a moment to be comfortable. So some of you, that's great, are gathering some props. Perfect moment to give the body a delicious resting nest after these efforts. If you played along and stretched along and challenged yourself a little bit, give yourself the reward of added comfort. You know what gives you comfort. We'll be doing a little work with the alternate nostril breath. Some of you might know of a hand position and practice with a physical finger position. You're welcome to do that if that's your thing, if you love that. I will guide a mental practice, a practice of awareness and moving the mind left and right. And so as you settle in, as you get comfortable, the biggest cue here, the biggest suggestion is really to find that comfort. And that might be sitting, that might be lying down. But letting your body be in that place where it's well supported. It's not working so hard. You're not trying to hold any special shape. You're not sucking your belly in. You're letting your body be in rest. And the mind hangs out with the breath. The mind has something to follow. Even if it's chatting and chattering, the mind might be active and allowing the mind to come to the breath, to get really involved with the inhales and the exhales, mentally involved, watching them. curious about them, challenging yourself to not control the breath, in fact, to train the mind to be a witness of the body, a watcher, a trusting observer. It's to give the body a few breaths there of no instruction and no prescribed breathing style, just the natural breath, the ongoing movement of the body in its business since the day you were born, the business of breathing. Just noticing what that feels like today as a physical experience. How does the breath feel? Arriving, showing up, how does the breath feel? Where in the body can you feel the breath? And take note of the breath as it comes and goes naturally, as it comes and goes so freely. Watch the breath at the nose. Taking a moment to just be there with the breath. Welcome, welcome, friends. Settling into the beginning of a breath practice by watching the breath, by being present to what is, allowing and being curious about what happens when the body is trusted to breathe. And in particular, watching the breath at the nose. What happens there? Can you feel the movement of the breath in the nostrils? Perhaps one is open and one is blocked. Maybe one is dominant and one is less open, but active no less. Just being open and curious and watching, observing the breath there at the nose. In these two passageways, being aware of the right and the left, and see if you can feel where they meet at the center, somewhere inside the head. And what happens to the breath from that point, and what happens to the exhale at that point? Where is the point where the breath splits, left and right? So take a moment to be with the nose and the nostrils and this breath from the edge of the nostril to that point inside the head, somewhere maybe at the level of eyebrow center, but a little deeper in. And if there is an open nostril or a dominant nostril, that be nostril number 1, and the other one is number 2. And if both are evenly open, evenly closed, the left one will be number 1. And the inhale, the mind moves from the edge of the nostril number 1 to the point inside the head, to the center, and out nostril number 2. In number 2, out number 1. In number 1, out number 2. In number 2, out number 1. 2 breaths per round. And the mind moves up and down. And it stays right there from the edge of the nostril to the point inside the head and out the opposite nostril. And in from that edge to the center and out number 1. It might be good to focus there, to stay there. And it might feel nice to expand the awareness into the whole body, watching the breath move up the foot and leg, on the side of the nostril, up to the crown of the head, and then down the side of the body, the side of the leg, and out the foot. Noticing what feels good for the mind, to trace the small passageway of the nostrils to the center point, or whether the bigger passageway through the whole body of one foot to the crown of the head and out the opposite foot. That bigger movement through the whole body might feel good to the mind. Breath awareness. And this alternate nostril breath. And breath awareness. Feeling these left and right sides balance, coordinate. And arriving back, letting those passageways melt, absorb, be released. Arriving back to the natural breath, arriving back to witnessing what is happening here with the inhales and the exhales. What is the body doing? How is the body breathing? As you're invited to prepare for a practice of yoga nidra, a guided relaxation practice, a practice of stillness of the body and movement of the mind, movement of the awareness. Organizing the body to its greatest comfort. Again, this invitation has been made, and it's made again to upgrade or update the comfort, doing whatever you can do to give this body an even better experience, right? Demonstrated here by my assistant, improving her position. Settling into a nest for your practice, settling into gravity and grounding and gratitude. Knowing that no matter what, wherever you are here on earth, here with this force beneath you, this gravitational pull that holds your body completely, right where you are, as you are, no matter what, anywhere in the world, at every moment, day or night. No matter how much energy you do or don't have, this planet is here to hold you. Feel the ground beneath you and feel the stillness of the body. How still the body can become resting upon the stillness of this earth. The body becoming like the earth, made of the same molecules, these physical molecules of physical earth and physical body. Body of the human resting upon the body of the planet. This great planet that holds you and nourishes you, surrounded in atmosphere that is the perfect combination of gases and levels of oxygen and other elements for our breath, for the body to be alive. As you just focused on how to breathe and where to breathe, be aware now that the body breathes, that you are a breathing being. Again, wherever you are, wherever in the world or wherever in your life, day or night, the body is breathing. The body's in the business of life, of survival, of living. And so the breath moves so freely, so effortlessly. In the stillness of the body, there is a movement of the breath. And the awareness is there, body and breath. And the awareness sweeps up and down. Where can the body be more comfortable? Where might the body accommodate the breath, invite the breath, allow the breath? Watch the body breathing. And as the awareness drops into the body, invite the awareness to come to the space of the heart and bring to heart a short list of the things that might bring you gratitude. Perhaps there are people or places, creatures or critters. Perhaps past experiences, memories bring gratitude to this heart. Perhaps future memories, plans, dreams, and ambitions. Letting the heart hold this gladness, this gratitude, that which brings gratitude to the heart. Making a short list and noticing how that feels, noticing how it feels to summon gratitude, to welcome gratitude, to generate even 2 or 3 points that bring a greater gratitude. How does that feel? What is the physical experience of gratitude? What does that do in the body? And can that gratitude spread from the space of the heart and chest into each rib and the spaces between the ribs on the front, around the breastbone at the center, and around the sides into the armpits, left and right? Can that gratitude spread into the ribs and the spaces between them on the back, left and right shoulder blade, left shoulder blade, and the space between the shoulder blades, the space above the shoulder blades and the tops of the shoulders? Let this gratitude move into the upper arms, right and left elbow, right forearm, left forearm, left wrist, right hand, left hand thumb, right hand thumb, index fingers right and left, middle fingers left and right ring finger, left little finger, right little finger, palm of the hand, left and right, in the back of the hands, right and left, elbows and armpits, awareness down the ribs to the hips now, left and right, and the thighs, right and left, the 2 knees and the shins, fronts of the ankles, right and left, and the tops of the feet, left and right big toe, second toe, third, fourth, and fifth, and the left big toe, second toe, third, fourth, and fifth. Awareness of the sole of the left foot and the sole of the right foot, the right heel and the left heel, the left Achilles, the right Achilles, Right calf, back of the left knee, back of the right knee, hamstrings of the right and the left buttock, the right buttock, sacrum, low back and abdomen. Again the chest, again the ribs, again the gratitude from the heart spilling over into the neck and the back of the head, to the left side and the right side of the head, the right ear and the left ear, the temples left and right, and the cheeks right and left, chin and lips, left nostril, right nostril, tip of the nose and the bridge of the nose, left eye, right eyebrow, left eyebrow, eyebrow center, forehead, hairline, and the crown of the head. And together the head and face, together the neck and shoulders, right arm, left arm, chest, upper back, low back, abdomen, pelvis, left leg, right leg, together. Both legs, the trunk, both arms, neck and head together, the whole body, the whole body, the whole body. Be aware, be here, aware of the whole body, the whole body, the whole body. Resting, this whole body here in this practice, the awareness here in this whole body. Awareness in the body, the whole body together, the whole body. Here in the practice, between asleep and awake, here in the practice, modulating the brain waves to this special state that is yoga nidra, this state of awareness. Awareness of the body, awareness of the breath, awareness of awareness itself, awareness of that which brings gratitude to this body, that which brings gratitude to this heart, which opens that blossoming of thankfulness and appreciation. These are experiences of the body. The body knows gratitude. The body knows appreciation. Scan the body. And where in the body does the gratitude live? Move the awareness around the body, exploring the inner landscape with this question, where does the gratitude live? Where is the source, the dwelling of gratitude? And where is it in the body? Letting the awareness move and find and be curious and explore the search for gratitude. And what is the opposite? What is unlike gratitude? Are there places in the body that are closed to gratitude? Places in the body that may be inaccessible, be wounding or hurt, protection, suspicion maybe. Just asking the question and asking the body, what is unlike gratitude? And that too is welcome. That too is the human experience and the experience of this body. Embracing the wholeness, embracing the complexity. Acknowledging any part that may not feel gratitude, maybe closed from gratitude, deprived of gratitude. And maybe holding space for that, just being okay with that paradox, that complexity. And maybe using the breath, maybe breathing to and through any parts that feel hungry, that feel longing. Maybe expanding the gratitude that dwells into a greater expression, inviting those sensations of gratitude to magnify and reach the whole body. What would it be like to fill this body, all the dimensions, all the experiences, with gratitude? What would that be like? And how might life look living from this place of gratitude? What might life look like to live from this place, to live from this place of gratitude? Anchored, grounded in the wisdom of the body, in the body's knowing. How do I wish to feel? How do I wish to feel in the physical form, in the body? How do I wish to feel in the heart, in the inner landscape? And how do I wish to feel in the subtle layers, more subtle than emotions? How do I wish to feel in spirit? Holding that question like a healing game, letting the body answer, the mind, perhaps the heart. Perhaps the spirit itself comes with a response. How do I wish to feel? Inviting and generating that experience. Listening to the voices and the wisdom of the body, however they show up in words and pictures and memories and cravings. Perhaps in physical sensations. Scan and be aware of the whole body. Feel this body. Listen to this body. See yourself with the eyes closed. See this body from the inside, the inner landscape. Be home. Be aware. Collecting what the mind might need from this experience. Collecting a next step, maybe, in how you wish to feel and how to make that happen. Maybe an insight, maybe that gratitude, that list can be an ongoing tool to return to bring these sensations up in the body, these sensations of gratitude, thankfulness, and appreciation. Being aware of this body and being aware of the space around the body. Remember that you're in the practice here, in whatever position you've chosen for the journey, in whatever environment, room, or shelter here, the space of a home or a neighborhood, maybe, listening to the sounds of life, the sounds of the world. There's always something making a sound somewhere. In my neighborhood, there are birds making their evening calls to each other, listening in all directions and listening near in to the sounds of the body itself, to the sounds of the breath and the heartbeat, and the little sounds inside of digestion. Listening and feeling, feel the body, feel the shape of the body, the place, the position, the shape of this human form, three-dimensional in its length, its width, its depth. Feel the whole body and feel the breath moving in the body. Feel the breath arrive and depart. And as you feel ready to emerge from this practice, invite the breath to grow deeper. You might choose to stay there. This is the beauty of the practice in digital living here, tuning in from your safe place. You might stay right where you are. You don't need to go anywhere. If you're choosing to emerge, you're deepening the breath and inviting tiny movements. Maybe just the tongue moves in the mouth, the fingers might move, the toes might move, little movements might grow bigger. And the body knows what it needs and what it wants, and it might want to be soft and still, and it might want to stretch, it might want to fold up, it might want to roll over, it might want to scratch something, catch an itch. Let the body move around. If it so chooses, let the body rest if that's what it needs, trusting this wisdom. The practice is complete, coming awake and alert. If that's your choice, staying in the soft, relaxed state if that is your will. Returning to our same questions ever and ever again. How do I feel? How do I feel now? What's happened in this time together? Do you remember the answer at the beginning of the session or whenever you began with the question, how do I feel? What has changed? And what do I need now? Asking this question now at a different moment in time, the body might have a different set of needs. Oh, this little body's hungry. I know, it's so hungry. Your body might be thirsty, hungry. You might rub the hands together to wake up the nervous system if that's what you need. You might touch your face and massage a little bit around the eyebrows and forehead if that's what you need, if it feels good to awaken and stimulate some of these energy points and tired parts. The earlobes help awaken the body. Giving a little massage to the ears, up and down and up again. Thank you for being here. Thank you for participating, for your self-care, which is community care. The better you feel, the better the world is. Thank you also for your ongoing generosities. I'm grateful for those of you that are able to contribute to my livelihood and in this work. And I'm so grateful to be with you. Thank you for watching. Please like the video and leave a comment about your experience. And while you're here, please subscribe to my channel and opt in for notifications to catch the next class I upload. And then head over to olgachwa.com to join in a live event or to work one-on-one with me. I'm here to help.